One. Welcome to Watkins, Glen, a road course located in New York. Ghost Racing Cup Series is here tonight. I'm joined by Bryson in the booth, so we got two people that are pretty similar in names, so that's going to be definitely weird. So, what are you looking for tonight, and how these drivers are going to have to run this track?
So the first thing I'm looking for tonight, that right-handed turn one. I mean, it's darn near a 90-degree angle. 2, 3, and 4, the S's. We got a straightaway in between there, the bus stop, aka the inner loop. As you see on your screen right here, they're coming down. I believe turn 5. They're coming into turn 5, that outer loop, headed into turn 6 and then the last turn, which is turn number 7. Bryce, if the weekend of racing we just had was any indication what we're going to see tonight, I think that outside line, inside line, whatever you want to call it, the Kyle Larson line is going to be key.
Yeah, you would think that road courses they kind of equal out because one turn one driver will have the lane, the other turn another driver will have the lane. So it's kind of you got to capitalize when you get the chance to be able to get in that spot, and you have to hit. There's two big, or there's really one big spot here. You have to go through the bus stop good, because if you miss that bus stop just a little bit, you will lose an incredible amount of time by just missing that. And I've saw drivers blow that corner before, and that will kill their lap. So you got to hit that perfectly. That's what you see Dalton McKinney, he's coming up to right here. You kind of got to brake, and then or you got to really point your car in there and then start braking, but you really got to throw this car through, and that's where the back end will hit these rumble strips, and they don't want to kick the rear end out, but you got to be able to put all that power down. Sometimes drivers try to grab a little bit too much power, and that'll send them around, so you got to be careful of when you want to put it down.
Well, and Bryce, one thing people, the listeners, the viewers are going to have to think about. Last week, these next-gen cars were on a high bank 2.5-mile oval at Talladega. Tonight, it's flat old Watkins Glen. Now, it is still 2.4 miles, but 6 degrees of banking in every corner but turn 5, which is 10 degrees of banking.
I mean, it's this track is I love watching road courses in real life. I think it just equalizes everything out for these drivers. You'll see who can really run them. There are some drivers that will struggle the whole entire night to get it down. Some people will just miss it. You're going to see a lot of people overshooting the corner, because sometimes you don't know where your braking zone is exactly, and you kind of go in there blindly like, well, I hope I stop before this point. That's what some drivers will just have to do, but they've got to be careful when they do it. And there's going to be contact, no doubt. They just got to minimize that. They don't have a fast repair here, so any damage they get, they've either got to fix it under caution, or they have to come down pit road if it's too bad. But I believe drivers are done with qualifying. I have to wait to pull up the grid here. It looks like Robert Lawrence, he's sitting on top right now with a 1 minute 12.9. Gardner's behind him. Bourne is third. Silvers is fourth. Matthew Rodriguez is sitting fifth right now. I'll wait to pull up the grid. Just having to wait for this thing to switch over. I believe it just switched over right there. And yes, here it is. So I should be able to get results here. We have 17 drivers that showed up here tonight. So a pretty good amount. I believe that's about the same as last week's. But you'll see the starting grid here. Robert Lawrence first, Kyle Gardner second, Tom Bourne third, James Silvers fourth, and Matthew Rodriguez fifth, Christopher Tate sixth, Tyler Evans seventh, 8th is Jacob Boehm, 9th Dalton McKinney, 10th is Chris Wheeler, 11th is Justin Ray, 12th Christian Roos, 13th Devin Scroggins, 14th Zach Woods, 15th is Mike Taylor. That is race controls. These guys will moved up one position. So 15th will be Noah Owens, and 16th will be Rylan Fonchinato, the Canadian. And I want to look at Houdini. Where is Houdini? I believe he's gridded just yet. That is the man. I call Christopher Tate because he seems to always pull out a win from nowhere, it seems, and I always joke with him on that. See, Gardner, he was running his practice stuff, and he was putting down some pretty fast laps on his own from the sessions that Hubka hosted. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's able to translate this here for him. I know that he did win at Talladega, so he already has a win under his belt, but I know he probably wants another one. One's not enough.
It looks like we're waiting on just a couple more drivers to grid in, but it looks like most of them are gridded in, Bryce. Getting set for 45 laps. I did the math here. 110.5 miles here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, it's a long track. Drivers are going to take forever. I know that the first lap that they run, they're going to be kind of weary of finding their zones. They don't want to get in there too deep, but somebody's going to eventually send it in there. That's kind of just what happens at these tracks, especially if you have to make a pass late in the race. You're not going to be thinking about it. You're going to be saying, well, I've got to get this pass done. You're in the way. I'm either going to hit you or you're going to move from me. So we're going to have to see what drivers will do from that.
Well, if history is any, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bryce.
No, you're good. I was just about to say something, but you're good.
I was just going to say, if history is any indication, your friend on lap number 44 is not going to be your friend on lap number 45.
Larson. People were up in arms about what Larson did when, really, he locked up his brakes, was on as hard as he could, and just kind of ran chase up the track. So that was something that we might see tonight. But I know that these vehicles, they struggle with turn more than the next gens. They don't want to turn as well, so the drivers will really have to be fighting that wheel. And this is also a spot up through the S's. You kind of got to hang close to that curb, because if you get off that curb, you're going to get really tight, and you're going to have to start lifting going through these, and it sets you up for a pretty long path to the bus stop. So if you miss this area, you are in trouble before you get down there.
I believe that's where we saw one of the international drivers this weekend, Kimmy. Don't catch me trying to say his last name. He had a pretty good weekend at the Glen, and then during the race, they're about, 15 laps in, just overshot that bus stop.
Yeah, he's just kind of trying to, I believe he might have gotten hit from behind, but he definitely went head on into the tire barriers from that contact. That's not a good, you may think the tires will slow you down. That's still some pretty hard contact that drivers will get from that. So hopefully we don't see anybody end up in that position tonight, because that would be pretty bad if they did.
I think Kimmy might have been, as they're calling it, Ross Chastain.
Oh, yeah. People getting mad with Ross Chastain and the way that he drives sometimes. He's a man that's always a hot topic in NASCAR, it seems, for wrong reasons sometimes, but he's definitely shown that he can win over there at Trackhouse. That's going to be Gartner. Robert Lawrence is going to lead the green. Gartner on the outside will have the 17 of James Silvers behind him. Lawrence will have the 16 of Tom Bourne. Then it's kind of on from there. We'll have to see if drivers decide to get in there deep. Hopefully they don't, because I don't want to see anybody end up in a bad position for sure. That would just be kind of weird for them. I don't want to see anybody end up in the fence at all here. Get the green here very soon. Robert Lawrence, he's on the inside. Gartner's on the outside. Green flag's in the air here at Watkins Glen. Lawrence gets a good start. Gartner doesn't get a terrible one, but that's going to allow Bourne. He's going to have an area to that inside of the lane to see if he takes it. He will get in there pretty deep, actually. Going to make his exit really shallow, but he's able to really roll that. Surprised he could roll that corner like he did, but he was able to, surprisingly. Did not expect him to be able to do that.
I tell you what, Lawrence got a real good restart there in that Everlast Ford, and he is off for the races.
He's definitely going to start pulling away from these guys out there. He's kind of setting sail at this point. He's like, yep, I can do whatever I want right now. I don't have to worry about y'all behind me. He might have gotten a little bit loose. It's like we got our crash already. Evans probably got punted seeing that rear end damage. He has some heavy contact that's going to really hurt his night. We see Lawrence. He's trying to run away from Bourne, but Bourne does not want to let him get away one bit. He's trying to keep him right behind him.
That number 16 right Toyota, yeah, wow, he is on the move.
Lawrence, he's still trying to run away from Bourne, but Bourne, he is definitely all over him right now. Bourne was barely off of Lawrence. He overshoots that corner. That's going to hurt him on his exit to go up through the S's. Gartner, I'm going to kind of watch Gartner. He won last week, so he definitely has momentum going for him in this race at least. I know he wants to continue that as this race goes on. Looking to the back here, we'll see. Kyle Evans, I think he.
Oh wow, a lot of damage to the back of that number 77 car of Tyler.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time doing anything with that damage on his vehicle. That's going to make it very, very rough for him. Very, very rough. don't think he's going to be too happy at all with that damage. I do not blame him for that either.
And you know, Bryce, it didn't look like the number 16 of Bourne overshot the corner very hard there in turn 1, but you can see now as he's battling with the number 17 of James Silvers, it really did make him fall behind quite a bit. Now see that it's almost a three-way battle for second place as we cross the start-finish line here of Watkins Glen. Number 17 is going to dive to the inside.
He's going to try to get that spot on Bourne. Bourne looks like he gives it up, trying to hope that 17 overshoots. 17 doesn't, though. Gets a good run off, but Robert Lawrence, he's been able to pull away from these guys. He's about actually a little bit over 3 seconds ahead of them, so he's definitely having his way with this track so far. Gartner, he's not running bad lap times. He actually ran semi-fast lap. I believe that was the second fastest lap last lap. So he's picking up the pace here. He's not letting him get away from him at all.
Well, I don't know about you, Bryce, but if I'm Lords, all I want to see in my mirror is a three-way battle for second place like he's getting right now.
He wants to see these guys go side by side. He doesn't want to see them being able to run and in a line as the 17 overshoots that corner. That's going to allow Bourne to get a little bit closer to him. Bourne's going to have outside of 17. He's going to be really pinched down when he tries to put down the throttle, so he's going to have to really try to fight on that bottom. Doesn't want that 16 to get outside of him just yet. He's able to hold it from him, luckily.
Watch that Red Bull car behind that, the second and third place car of Silvers, as well as Bourne. He's waiting for one of them to make a mistake and capitalize. You can see it. He's moving all around the track right now.
He's lost some position, so he's went from a spot of being in power to kind of struggling to hold on to these guys, so he definitely wants to get back up there. He doesn't want to have to be so far behind early in the race. Now, it is a road course race, so they do have a chance. He overshoots, he misses the bus stop, has to go right through the grass. Robert Lawrence, he's been having his way with this track so far. He's not had to worry about anybody being around him currently. Robert Lawrence, he's had his way right now. Now, it is only 5 laps in. I believe they'll probably have to pit at least once in this race. I know they won't be able to make it to the end on fuel. They will probably take tires when they come down here. I don't see anybody not taking tires. No one to tire fall off. Robert Lawrence, he has a clear track in front of him. He's just going to be able to run away at this point. Looks like Bowen has a little bit of rear end damage. He must have gotten punted in one of the corners. Drivers kind of using each other as bumper cars right here. Nothing that some of them can do. It's just everybody's hitting each other. There's nothing that can be done most of the time.
So, years past, Toyota, Chevrolet in this type of NASCAR body, race car, cup car. The Toyotas, like I said, and the Chevrolets have kind of had the advantage. Last Ford win at Watkins Glen in the real NASCAR Cup Series back 2015. That was Joey Logano. So, kind of curious to see how Ford at the front of the field will run as, whoa, had one getting loose as we're headed to the bus stop.
He got a little bit loose on that rear end. I know he did not want to see that because drivers, when that rear end gets loose, you're like, oh, here we go. This thing's going to go around on me. They do not want to see that happen.
Looked like the number 60 is Zach Woods, maybe? Is that who that was, Brian? Yeah, that was the 60 car. And that cost him some track position.
Yeah, Roos is all the way in the back. He's been struggling early on, but he has time to learn this track. Because drivers they'll learn the track as the race goes on, so they'll definitely be able to calm down, to know that, okay, I have time for this. I don't have to be panicking just yet. Now, you can panic a little bit later in the race if you want to, that is, but hopefully nobody has to do that, because that'd be a bad thing for them in general.
Well, and there's one guy on your screen that I don't know if he needs any time to learn how to drive this track. He is pulled away from second place behind him. He's just been able to pull a huge gap. These guys back here, they're going to start battling with each other. You see Tate, he's sitting in third currently. Silvers is out front. These guys are probably going to have their own little pack
together. Bourne's falling off. You see Matthew Rodriguez and Tom Bourne. They're also kind of just, or sorry, Jacob Bowen kind of just hanging back here. You can use all that track, and some drivers will elect to. Some drivers will elect not to. It's kind of up to their discretion. As some drivers will use all of it. Some drivers will really try to pinch their exit. That can really get your tires spinning from under you. See, everybody's pretty much running in their same position. The biggest move right now is actually Rylan Fonchinato. He's up 7 positions, and he is running about 15 lap seconds. These guys up here are splitting about 13s to 14, so they definitely got this track figured out just a little bit better than these guys behind them currently.
I'm curious to see if these Chevrolets are going to gang up. I'm curious to see their lap times compared to the Ford out front in clean air especially, but they seem to be running very well together as a pack. And they've pulled away from the Toyota, who's number 16 of Tom Bourne.
Tom is kind of in the middle of nowhere. He can see Gartner, but he can't really see anybody behind him. He has his teammate Matthew Rodriguez. He's trying to come up to him. But drivers, looks like they've been struggling with that bus stop, because that's an area that I knew that they would. That's not an easy area to hit. You got to hit it pretty much right on the head, because if you miss it just a little bit, there goes your whole lap. But Lawrence, he looks like he's been able to string these laps together for sure. He's not had any issues up so far, but these two are teammates. Gardner and Tate are both on Freedom Motorsports. James Silvers, I need to look to see what team he is on. He is Cornerstone Motorsports. And there's another Freedom Motorsports driver.
Which, while you're talking about it, headed into this race, Bryce, Freedom Motorsports, they have the team championship lead, 394 points. Blue Motorsports just 30 points behind them, and Threat Level Midnight behind them, minus 34. So a good little battle going on for team points right now.
Freedom Motorsports was actually they were named Not Fast Racing last season. Then they changed the name. I was on that team, so some of these drivers I were teammates with last season. Tate, he's going to get to the bumper. That 17 is going to look inside. 17 is going to kind of throw a little bit of a block there. Doesn't go up next to the wall and get that good entry. Tate, I think he realizes that he doesn't want to punt him just yet. Kind of like, I'll kind of deal with you right now. Looks like Justin Ray said he crashed. I believe he probably just went off track there for half a second. Then go back to these guys back here. I think Tate.
I was going to say the 54 said, "Talk to me in 20 laps." I may
Tate,
put the bumper to him then.
Got on that grasser just a little bit, made him a little bit loose, but he was able to keep it under him. If you get a little clip of grass here, that can really get you loose, and I've saw it happen so many times. Looks like McKinney's trying to catch Chris Wheeler. He's chipping away at him.
That black car in the back almost overshot the bus stop and hit the wall. That's the number 69 car. That is that's Rylan. Oh, wow. Fortunato. Excuse me.
Yep, there you
Ryan.
go. You said that correctly.
Awesome. There we go. Ryan, he's in the Toyota. He looks like he's wiggling a little bit there.
Yeah, as this run goes on, these cars are going to just get looser and looser and looser. It's going to be really difficult for them to keep those tires under them.
You saw the 17 bobble there.
Especially,
it just looks like these tires are losing the rear tire. It just looks like these guys are losing the rear tires. Bryce, what do you think?
Yeah, and especially if you've locked up a tire, you can get away with it once, but if you start locking it up continuously, that's just going to burn away the rubber on it, and that's going to make it extremely difficult. And these cars already don't want to turn under braking. So you've got to be very careful about locking up the tires. I don't think anybody has done it so far. At 17, can't put that power down. He gets very loose off that corner. Gartner and Tate both go wide. You can use pretty much all that exit of the track that you want to there. Just other parts you can't. But that 77, he's trying to make his way back up to the pack. He still has that heavy damage from smacking that wall earlier. He drilled it.
Looks like he's developed some more damage on the front end there, too.
Very well could have, because drivers have different braking spots. They're like, oh, I didn't know you were going to brake there, and they just kind of drill each other. And it's accidental contact. Nobody means to plow into each other. It just happens, really.
I tell you what, Bryce, right now I'm really impressed with the 49 car who is running fourth, but he just seems to kind of be running it very smooth, letting them kind of overdrive it every now and then. He's just kind of taking his space, saving his tires. I really just keep watching for that guy.
Gartner, he is a driver. He's not. It's weird because Gartner's he's a guy that he kind of lurks most of the time. He's not always up front, but he always seems to be like Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick, he's known as the closer. Gartner,
that's what I was going to say. He just kind of looks like he's lurking right now, trying to save his tires, trying to see where he can make his move and when he can make it.
Yeah, he likes to save his vehicle more than anything. He doesn't want to take too risky of a move, really. He's kind of like, I'm going to ride here. I don't have to pass you just yet. I can let you do something else. As Tate goes really wide, uses up everything on that corner. He really got all that he could.
Gardner gets a little loose coming on to the straightaway, but he collected it there, and he is now, if the race were to end right now, that would be a podium, right, Bryce?
Yeah, that would be a podium. He would get the 3rd place position, but I know that he wants to definitely move up more because he's kind of like, yeah, this is not good enough for me. If I was him, he's probably he wants to get another win. He probably hopes to go back to back. That'd just be something cool for him to do. He's a very good driver. But the biggest mover right now,
he's points leader right now. No, go ahead.
The biggest mover is Fonchinato, really putting down some tire tracks down there. Got really loose off that corner. The biggest mover is him, though. He's in 10th. He's got a while to Dalton McKinney, though, so he's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. But Lawrence, he's just been able to extend his lead every single lap. Now Gardner's trying to go after the 17. That 17 is losing that grip. He's trying to pinch Gardner off the track. Ran him very wide there, did not let him get any room. Let's see what Gardner does. He looks to the inside, let him know that he's there. Backs off. I think he's trying to get the 17 to overshoot the corner. He saw how loose that 17 was on the exit, trying to put the power down. He's probably just going to kind of play with him right now. He doesn't want to pass him just yet. At 17, he's getting very tight off that corner.
And don't think that the number 17 car of Silver's headed into turn 1 doesn't know that that's the points leader behind him. He cannot give up very many points here as Gardner's going to dive into his inside, headed into turn 1. He clears him. That's going to leave the 54 with an opportunity.
I might let Tate go up through the S's. That inside vehicle gets kind of tight. Tate, yeah, here you go. You can hear his tires.
Whoa,
oh, they make contact. Tate into the wall.
Big wreck.
Oh, no. That is probably going to end his night. Contact from the 17 of James Silvers. We will go back and look at that. That put Tate directly in the wall.
I'll tell you what, Bryce, looked like to me, both of them just got a little bit loose there. Silvers probably tried to overcorrect it. There he is losing it right there. Tried to overcorrect it and just sent him right into him. Wow. Not much you can do there, but a lot to be mad about.
Oh, yeah. Tate hits the part of the wall where you just get stuck. That rips his front end off. So, I'd say now he's definitely got engine damage from that, but Tate, that's probably going to end his chances of winning here because he's going to have some heavy engine damage. I'll actually go in the cockpit just to make sure.
Yeah, he's running high RPM, looks like.
As I'm surprised that engine is not toast. Maybe he might have some overheating issues. I don't know how it's still running, but it is because that thing is smashed. And no, he's not going to be happy with that 17. That 17 is continuing to lose positions. He's about to lose one to Tom Bourne. Tom up at that curb, can't put the power down. You're seeing the rumble strips. Very difficult to get that grip up there. I don't know if Tate gets around to that 17, he's probably not going to be too happy with him.
And I'm wanting to see if there's any damage on the 17 car because, I mean, it's not like that was a light hit on the right front tire of the 17. It looks like maybe a little bit, but not much at all.
Looks like it does have a little bit of damage. He's got just a little bit of damage there up front. I don't think it's too bad. Kind of able to hit him pretty square.
For sure.
These cars, their damage models, very, very picky. If you get damage anywhere that it doesn't like it, you're going to have a lot of damage for the rest of the race. It's going to really slow you down. But Bourne's been able to keep his vehicle pretty much clean. Looks like drop the green flag pretty much looks the same. But I've noticed now, looks like may have been wrong there. I think Gardner might have been shaving off just a little bit of time from.
I was going to say, coming out of turn number 7 there, we saw the 34 Lawrence get just a little loose, bobbled it there. You can really tell tires are falling off here, and it's paying off for Gardner. I was just saying earlier, it kind of looked like he was saving his tires, getting out of the gas a little before everybody else, rolling through the corners. Now his opportunity, the points leader, to shave down some time on the leader. How far out is Lawrence right now?
Like Lawrence, he's just under 11 seconds, but he went from 11.5 to 10 back to 11 out the bus stop, so he didn't get a very good exit through that. But he's definitely shaving off that lead that Lawrence has over him. It might take him a little bit. He's going to have to put together some really good laps, but he is definitely making that time come down. It's going to take him a while being 10 seconds behind, but he was putting down some fast laps in practice. So I know that he can. I know that he can run very well here. All these guys are about lap 15. I'm going to roll some quick ads here for you all. Punching up. 2, 1. We were back here at Watkins, Glen. While we were gone, the 17 of James Silvers, he did come down pit road. Might be trying to short pit. Not completely sure. Looks like Noah Owens, he wrecked in the bus stop. He toes the pit road. I think he's kind of getting fed up with this track. I would not blame him. But Gartner very, very slowly has been chipping away at Lawrence's lead. It's not very much, but it's definitely noticeable to Lawrence here. And he's going to run up on his teammate and Dalton McKinney in front of him and put him a lap down. Not sure when drivers will have to come to pit road. The 17 may have came a little early as Lawrence really tries to put the power down and gets loose. In fact, the chicane, that was almost bad for him. I have to say, I think you could maybe, split up this race, hit about lap, let's say 28-ish if the fuel does allow you to go that long. I'm not really sure how long they can go on fuel. Tate's still making it work with his damage though. He's not laying over for these guys, trying to still run some fast laps. Looks like he's running a modified right now. I don't know how it's still doing what it is, but it is. Gartner ran a much faster lap. See what he runs this time. Barely slower than Lawrence. Gartner's going to catch Lawrence. I think it's going to take him a while, though. I think it's really going to be... That might come down to the end of the race with how Gartner is running currently. He's going to have to just keep chipping away at Lawrence's lead, because Lawrence was able to get out front very early and away from those guys and really hasn't had to worry about them since then.
Well, the pure and simple fact, and while I haven't had a view of him the entire race, it seems like every time we have shot for one of these cars, they've gotten loose. And you just haven't seen that from the 49 yet so far this race. He's just ran real smooth. Got a little loose there, of course, as I'm talking about how smooth he's running. But as he's in the outer loop there and headed to the straightaway. That Red Bull Camaro looks fast, Bryce.
Yeah, he's got it under 10 seconds now, so he shaved off about a second while we were talking about him. We'll see how much he can shave off here. He seems to be hitting all the areas that he needs to very well. He's not smashing the gas on the exit, really letting the car rotate through the corner when he's on the brakes. They really don't want to turn when you're on the brakes. They just kind of want to plow really tight, and I think he's realized, he's like, I don't have to be fast the whole time. If I just run consistent, somebody else is going to make a mistake. And that's what Lawrence has been doing. They've been very small mistakes, but Gartner's been able to capitalize on the mistakes that have been made by him.
I mean, you've got to think that when we see Lawrence hit pit road, we're going to see Gardner hit pit road. As close as Gardner has made this thing to him, he probably would want to hit pit road around the same time as him.
He does have opportunity, but if I was Gardner, I don't know, he has two choices. He's like, do you come in and pit before Lawrence? Do you come in and pit after Lawrence? Do you want to try to get up on him on tires? Because he has a way to go. I just don't know how he's going to have to play his pit strategy here. It looks like Dalton McKinney, he's been able to run away from him, but he also did pit on lap 14, so that's why he was being caught. He's kind of confused there. Looks like Tate, he's trying to go under Wheeler here.
And I love to see that car that, as you said earlier, looks like an SK modified, the number 54. He's trying to make a pass right now. No such thing as aero with him right now in that Toyota.
Yeah, he's definitely not having the time that he wants for sure, knowing that front end is gone. He probably remembers why it's gone as Wheeler gets really loose. It's going to give Tate a run on the outside. He can maybe set up Wheeler, but I think he's got just a little bit of engine damage that is not allowing him to get the full power like the rest of them. Gardner still chipping away. Bourne's kind of stalled out here. Rodriguez is kind of stalled out also. So drivers pretty much in the position that they're in is the position that they might as well stay for the rest of this race. Now, if somebody does get taken out in the corners, that is possible. I saw that happen before. Some drivers just getting there a little too deep. And they're like, but you 8 tires turn better than 4. As I did ask Roos to do an experiment as he's trying to take down the inside wall. Hasn't moved from just yet. I told him, why don't you do 16-wheel drive? Take 4 other drivers with you. Ooh, Kenny got loose off that corner. But Gardner is about to get under 9 seconds here. Yep. Back to Silver and Tate. Tate, Wheeler got away from him, so Tate must have gotten loose somewhere through that James Silver. I guarantee you Tate remembers why he doesn't have a front end now. See if he plays the 17 nice. He does. He lets the 17 go right around him. He's trying to get him, though, Tate. When you don't have a hood, it's pretty easy to remember why you don't have one. I think that's pretty much still burning in his mind. But Gardner, Lawrence is going to have to start worrying about Gardner here very soon. Gardner's got it to 8.5. He's been dropping time very, very quickly on Lawrence. James Silver, he's going to try to make his way back up through this. He's pitted on lap 15, so he does have fresher tires than these guys. Probably trying to capitalize on them at this moment, as a 77, I believe, got really loose. No, that was the 7 got really loose on the outside of McKinney. McKinney also pitted. There's his teammate in Roos in the blue 14 right there behind all these guys.
Justin Ray gets loose again coming out of turn 6. Now into 7. Shoots up the racetrack. He's all over the place. Looks like he is struggling with the back end right now. Lost a lot of time on the 46 just then.
And we'll actually go on board. We will go on board with Gardner here just to see how he's running this track. It's kind of an art when you run these road courses here.
Really using those rumble strips to help set the car, as now he's going to be headed into the bus stop. Woes up right around, 86, 8,900 RPM. Woes up through the bus stop into turn 5, that outer loop, and hunting down the 34 Ford right now.
Oh,
Whoa,
no,
little
there
loose
we
for
go.
Gardner.
Saves it. Gets a handful of wheels, able to dirt track that thing off that corner. He really gave it all he could there. That was almost bad for him, though.
Is there any way you could roll that back, Bryce? That was awesome. Wow.
Actually can. He's just trying to get all he can off the
Check
corner.
out
I
those
know.
hands, folks. Check out those hands. Watch that. That's driving right there. Man. What a move by Gardner.
Gardner's coming up on the 60 of Zach Woods. Woods gets out of the way for him. Gardner had his hands full there, but he still is gaining time on Robert Lawrence. Lawrence has to be looking at his relative and seeing that 49. He's like, oh no, here he comes. But Bourne and Rodriguez are down pit road. Looks like Tom Bourne has a little bit of damage on the right side, so he's definitely got in contact with somebody. It's not uncommon for drivers here to have damage. They will use each other up when they get a chance, but accidents do happen.
Especially not this stage in the race.
Yeah, he pitted with his teammate, so he's definitely gonna have somebody that he can trust behind him. We'll have to see, when do these guys pit now?
I would say any lap now at this point, you're going to see the leaders, the number 34 and Gartner, come in. I would think Gartner has a little more tire wear than the 34 since he hasn't had to lose. And here we see Lawrence coming in.
See who else Lawrence drags with him. He might drag Gartner. Nope, Gartner, he's going to stay out. Somebody off the way. Montanado's revving his engine, sitting in pit road. Justin Ray's coming down pit road also. But Kyle Gartner, he's going to get the lead here. I'd say that he would probably come in this next lap. He does not want to be super behind on tires. That would be a catastrophe for him, because I think that he was being very strong at the end of that run, so I think he definitely has something for Lawrence. Lawrence is going to have his work cut out for him, especially where does he come out relative to Kyle Gartner? He should come out relatively far ahead from him, but it really depends on how can Kyle Gartner get in and out of pit road, and even if he can get that time down to just like a second less, I think that'll be enough for him.
It is going to have to be a perfect pit stop for the 49, just the way, because you've got to think at this point, you've already got the 34 out of pit road. He's going to catch him here. And let's see if he comes in here, folks. He is. He's backing her down.
I'll pull up the track map here so you can see where he is relative to Lawrence. I think Lawrence, he will pass him relatively easily. You see Woods. He's going to join Kyle Gartner also. Oh, this is going to get weird for him now. How much time will he have to make up? Because he's definitely going to have some to make up. He just doesn't want it to be a lot.
If you're Gartner, no mistakes here on pit road. Nice entry into the box. As Lawrence is now on the front stretch, gets past Gardner. It's going to be a 4-tire stop.
He's now past him, so he's got to be able to get out. How much time did he lose now? Silvers, he pitted on lap 15, so it's really compared to what Gardner, he maintains pretty much the same gap that he had before. He does not lose a lot of time to Lawrence, so it might be down to Lawrence and Gardner. Late in this race, Tate is down pit road in that modified. He's still running. He's still trying to run. He does not want to give up at all. Evans is down pit road. He got some contact earlier, and that's really smashing his front end. You see, it's the 14 of Christian Roos. He's going to join these guys also on pit road. Lawrence, he's going to try to get as much time as he can from Gardner. He does not want to have to deal with having to battle with him. That's the guy that he knows. He knows how to drive. He knows how to race, but looks like Gardner's going to catch James Silvers here anytime soon.
Gets around Justin Ray pretty easily. I was curious to see if he was going to let Justin hold him up much, or he was going to utilize that draft a little bit, as he is going to catch Silvers. Now, Silvers pitted, about, at this point, 5 laps. Whoa! Ray collected it there, coming out of turn 7.
Very loose. He was able to keep it under him. but James Silvers, he pitted on lap 15. Kyle Gardner, lap 24. So the tires are not in favor of James Silvers. I think he just pitted early, tried to get the jump on some guys. He knows he's going to get past. He just doesn't want to lose a lot of positions. He knows he's going to get. He gets loose in front of Gardner. Gardner does not want to see a guy like this in front of him right now.
And that'll help hold the guy behind you whenever you get loose like that. As they're headed into the bus stop. It's not about being the fastest guy. It's about being the hardest guy to pass.
Pulling that Ron Newman. You don't want drivers to get around you. That's one thing that will get very, very annoying. You're just hard to pass. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just racing them very, very hard. Is that yeah, Gardner, he's got the preferred lane when he enters that corner. Will the 17 really put up a fight here? Or will Gardner be able to get around him very quick? Looks like he will. But he's lost a lot of time to Robert Lawrence. He's only got 19 laps to make this up. Gardner is really going to have to start pushing it. It's the only option that he has. Go through the field here right now with Robert Lawrence first, Kyle Gardner, he is second. James Silvers third, Tom Bourne fourth, Matthew Rodriguez fifth, Jacob Bowen sixth, Dalton McKinney seventh, Christopher Tay eighth, Rylan Fonchinato ninth, Tyler Evans, he is 10th, 11th is Devin Scroggins, 12th, Justin Ray, 13th, Christian Ruth, 14th, Chris Wheeler, 15th, Zach Woods, and Noah Owens. He has called it a night here. He is out of the race, and you see that last number on that board is also the race control, so we don't count him at all. He is not a driver here, but Gardner, I think he has to get his tires just heat up just a little bit more. Then he's going to be able to start putting down some very fast laps. He's going to have to start driving hard. He can't really conserve anything that he has left. He has to go at this point. He's got no other option but to start pushing it. Now, if a caution does come out, it will change everything, but it has to be a multi-car pilot for that to happen here.
And it looks like Gardner's really driving it in deep to every corner, driving it real wide, trying to make up as much time as he can, Bryce, like you mentioned, before those tires get hot so he can really begin making up some time. He dives real deep into turn one, gets a good run off.
Going to catch the 71. That is Devin Scroggins. Really soon he will be able to get past him relatively easily when he does catch him. Hopefully that driver doesn't pose a huge challenge to him, because that's something that will drive people insane. If a lap vehicle will not get out of the way, it looks like the 71 he will give way to Gardner. So Gardner will probably say, thank you, go right around him. Is that 71? 7 is into the wall now. Got loose, could not keep it under him. Hard contact with the wall. That might have broken his steering. Oh, no.
Is he going to be able to get off track without having to tow it back? He's headed into right through the cones in the bus stop.
That was some hard contact for the 7 of Justin Ray. He smacked that wall. I think he just got too loose, was trying to drive a little bit too fast, too early. But Gardner, he's about 15 seconds behind Lawrence. If he was going to catch up to Lawrence now, he's going to have to run almost a second a lap faster than Robert Lawrence. And I don't see that happening. But James Silver, he's going to come back down pit road. Pitted on lap 15. As do not do this right now, Steam. Are you kidding? Hopefully that never happened. I don't know why that happened on my screen.
That's some of that free advertising.
Oh, I know what I did. When I went over to my other monitor, I probably hit Steam on accident. So that was completely my fault. But luckily, that really didn't miss much on that. But Gardner, as that happened, he's been able to shave off some time. Went from 14, up high 14 to high 13s. So maybe Gardner heard that he needs to turn it up, and he's starting to turn it up here late. Now Lawrence, he can probably kind of relax, run a little bit slower, because he knows he has that gap to Gardner. Save his tires a little bit more, because Gardner's really going to have to be pushing it through this race now. Oh, Lord. forward.
And what you're
Looks like
seeing right now. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. You can go ahead. I was just about to say, looking at Gardner's times, got it back up to 14. I think he might have missed a corner there when I wasn't watching him.
I was just going to say, if you're just now joining us, what you're seeing right now is what you've gotten most of the race, really spread out. Lawrence got a really good jump on the initial green flag restart. Hadn't been a caution. They have not regrouped as a pack, and it's just been one by one, some single file racing here at Watkins Glen in this 110-mile race. Whoa! Lawrence real loose coming out of turn 6 as he collects it, heads back down into turn number 7 and onto the front straightaway. That could have been bad for him.
Drivers, they try to grab all the throttle that they can, and that grip just is not there sometimes. They try to get what they really can't. That can come out and get you sometimes. I've saw that happen multiple times to some drivers. They want to get more than what the track is willing to give them. They take, and they keep taking. They keep taking. That track is like, I'm done. I'm tired of you wanting to get too much of me, and it'll reach out and get you, but he's able to keep it under him. Look at
he shot out of that left-handed turn like a rocket.
Going up lap times there on the scoring pylon. Robert Lawrence, he is 2/10 faster than Gardner, but at a road course, 2/10 is a lot of time for these drivers. So he's definitely having maybe pick up his pace now. He knows that Gardner's going to be on him here very soon if he doesn't keep up the heat and keep trying to put more distance to him.
Well, and I tell you what, if him losing it coming out of turn number 6 was any indication of that, you can tell inside the car he is thinking about that 49 car, the points leader, chasing him down as we wind down laps here at Watkins Glen. Made it through turn 6 pretty okay that time. The 16 still has a little bit of damage. Looked like to the right side there. I'm curious to when that happened.
Looks like he may have
somebody as a bumper.
Yeah, he's got damage on both sides, so he's either hit the wall and exit or somebody's kind of sent it in a little bit deep on him, but he definitely has some damage that's affecting him. Zach Woods, he is a lap down. He's not had a great night so far. He's been struggling. This track is very hard to get a grip on. Looks like Lawrence is about to lap Christopher Tate here very soon. So Tate, he's also had a rough night. He's running in 8th, though, so still not a bad race for him. He was put in the wall by the 17 early, so he's probably not happy about that, and I would not blame him one bit for that. But that's going to bring up something now. Tate, he is teammates with Kyle Gardner. Maybe he holds up Robert Lawrence for Gardner just a little bit, because that would definitely help him out. I don't know if he will do that, though. That would be something we'll have to see if he will decide to do that.
Very impressed with the 54 car of Christopher Tate. Not a lot of drivers. I don't know about you, Bryce, but if my car looked like that right now, I think I would have just called her quits, and I will definitely be in the garage right now. So good on him, trying to maintain the speed, not get in the way, and just run his own race.
I know that Gardner's probably saying, Tate, if you don't mind, holding up this guy for me just a little bit, not a lot. You don't have to hold him up for multiple laps, but just slow him down just slightly for me. I'd be fine with that.
It's like I said a minute ago, you don't have to be the fastest, just got to be the hardest to pass.
He lets Robert Lawrence go very quick, but Lawrence almost blows that bus stop. He got really loose and went through the grass there. He's trying to get all that he could. He about got too much of it.
Like you mentioned, Lawrence seems like he's really pushing here. You don't want to push too hard because you do have a pretty significant lead, and while he almost wrecked coming out of turn 6, it didn't cost him there. I'm sure it cost him a little bit of time on the chart, and like I said, just don't want to end up in the wall here as we're winding down into the final stages of the race.
Yeah, Gardner, the times have pretty much equalized between him and Lawrence. Lawrence, see, Gardner's ran 100th of a second faster than Lawrence up there, but he's not making the gains that he was last time. Actually, I take that back. Ran about 3/10 quicker that lap, but no, he'd have to run fast, more than a second faster than Robert Lawrence. I don't see that happening for Kyle Gardner, so I believe he will probably be gifted with the second position here.
Yeah, while he does have the advantage of one less lap on that set of tires than Lawrence does, I just don't see him making up that amount of time with this little amount of laps left. Lawrence dominated this race, and if he ends up winning this one, it was definitely an earned victory.
Lawrence, he was basically from the drop of the green flag to where he is now. He's been out front the whole time. He's not faced a challenge from really anybody at this point. I think he's probably very content with not having to deal with anybody being behind them.
Just shows how integral those restarts are, Bryce. I mean, people think about it, drop to the back and save your tires, different things like that. Got to get good restarts, and especially at these road courses.
It really comes down to this is a track where this is going to separate some drivers. This is drivers that you can really see if they only run ovals. Is that I had a Watkins going. I wasn't terrible at it, but definitely struggled in the next gens. But I wasn't bad, but because we had a lot of road course aces in there, it was definitely showing. But this is where drivers, they say, I don't only race these cup cars. I race other things. I'm not just an oval person. I can do some dirt. I can do some road courses. I have some talent outside of this vehicle, and that's what Robert Lawrence has definitely shown so far. Looks like he got a little bit loose right there going out of the chicane, but he was able to keep it under him. Gardner actually lost some time, so I think Gardner's chances of winning this race are pretty much out the window. We'll see how many spots Silvers can make up. He pitted on lap 28. Kind of confused why. He double pitted, but he's probably going to catch Jacob Bowen here relatively soon. He maybe could get... he's not getting Rodriguez unless Rodriguez blows a corner and spins himself out. As I know, if that happened to Lawrence, he would not be happy with himself. He does not want to see that happen at all to him because he's so far out front. But if he does loop it, that is going to bring Kyle Gardner into the picture here. All these guys are going inside of 10 laps to go. We will roll some quick ads here. 2, 1. Inside of 10 to go with 8 laps left. That's now 7. Robert Lawrence, he has ran away with this lead. Gardner, he has continued to lose time. I think he pushed it a little too early on, or Lawrence has turned up the heat on this field. He does have a sizable gap to Tom Bourne. He's 9 seconds behind Gardner. So Gardner probably has second lockdown. Bourne probably has third lockdown. Rodriguez probably has fourth lockdown also, as he has a huge gap to Jacob Bowen. He is about a whole half second behind him. But these drivers have been putting down some fast laps, especially early on here at Watkins Glen.
Well, good news for those who are not running in the top 3 next week. Tune in. Ghost Racing going to be at Pocono. And it looks like Sports Team is the highlight on that, Bryce. So I'm going to guess that paint schemes. That should be a fun race.
Yeah, Pocono is a track, you know, you would think that you can go flat out there. You can't. And there's a bump in, I believe, in the middle of one that if you find that, oh, you want to talk about getting loose. As Scroggins has crashed here, we'll see what happened to him. I believe he just tried to get it off the corner. Well, what happened here? He just tries to get all he can off the corner. Into the barrels he goes. Gets stuck in them, able to pull himself out of it. He doesn't have a hood now. But back to what I was saying about Pocono, that'll be an interesting track because there's really one spot on that, or actually really 2 spots on that track that are really, really dangerous. There's a bump in the middle of 1 and 2. If you hit that, it will really upset your car, and then you have to go through the tunnel turn. That's where you have to really kind of throw your car through there, because if you don't get in there very aggressively, you are going to have a really hard time. As Justin Reyes crashed. That is right in front. That was right in front of Robert Lawrence. So drivers just trying to get as much as they can late in the race. No, Lawrence does not want to see this happen with his guys at all. He wants it to stay green, go green to the end. He does not want to give Kyle Gardner a chance to get back to him, because Kyle Gardner, he's been able to stretch a lead out over him.
Now, we've talked about Gardner being really fast over the race, picking up 10th here, 10th there. Give credit where credit's due. Lawrence ran the fastest lap of the race just a little while ago. It was a minute 12:12. That's a pretty fast lap here at Watkins Glen.
He's been putting down some time. I know that the next gens are able to run a little bit faster, but that's sequential. But for an H pattern, that is an incredibly fast time for him. He's been able to put down some very, very, very consistent laps. Even when the tires were off, he's still very consistent. The losses that he has aren't drastic, so every single time that he goes out there, he's pretty much hitting the same exact part of the track that he was before. He's definitely had his way with Watkins Glen so far, but they're going to come to 5 to go at 17. He got past Bowen. Do not believe he will get to... no, he's not getting to Rodriguez here. No way he's going to catch Rodriguez. It's only 5 laps left in the race as Rodriguez gets all he can off that corner there. As I will pass this off to you, Bryson, I will check the stream here just really quickly.
Rodriguez, that Toyota, he's rolling through the SS234 here. We saw that being a really integral part of the passing zone this past Sunday, this past weekend. And he's headed into the long straightaway, headed into what is the bus stop, the inner loop here at Watkins Glen. He's got third, I believe third spot, 57 car right now. He's got third spot, pretty much locked up, running all by himself.
He actually has fourth. His teammate has third locked up. That is Tom Bourne. I was checking to make sure because my mic is on OBS. It's showing that when I speak, it's a little bit behind, so I thought it was not syncing up, but luckily it was. I just had to make sure, as I made the grave mistake earlier of offloading all this work onto my CPU, and let's say it has not liked that, but in actual news about broadcasting, I do have a whole custom water loop kit coming to water cool everything, because I'm tired of this thing overheating. So hopefully we'll not have any more crashes on the stream when I get that. I'll have to set time aside to put that together. Probably about next week is when I will get everything that I need for that. But Lawrence, he's swept the field so far. He's going to come to 3 to go here. Gartner's, he's pretty much in no man's land. So is Bourne. Actually, he's around people. These are lap trucks, so that's a 71. Doesn't have a hood. 16 has some damage. Oh, the cleanest person so far looks to be Dalton McKinney. I don't think he has a scratch on his car here.
Of course, teammate of the leader.
So he has definitely had it. As he's teammates with Kyle Gardner, who is running second. He has his other teammate in Christopher Tate in the race. Also, Tate, he's had a rough night. Very, very rough night. He got put in the wall pretty early from the 17, just kind of tail whipping him. He hasn't had a front end forever, but he's been able to make it work so far for him. He's not done a bad job. He's been able to hold on to that 7th position. But the top 3, pretty much where they qualified, is where they are running right now. Robert Lawrence, he's first. Kyle Gardner second, and Tom Bourne, he is third. The biggest mover so far, actually in this race, is Rylan Fontanado. He is up 9 positions. He is currently in 8th. But he's had a pretty decent night, I'd say, for him. He's not had a terrible one.
I'll tell you what, Fontanado, I mean, we saw him earlier driving the heck out of that car, having a dirt track it a little bit in the S's, maintained speed. He's really been consistent the whole race, passing cars left and right, and has made the racetrack wider than it really is at certain points.
You know, one thing about iRacing that's kind of something funny to think of. You know, going into turn 1, you know, drivers can use up pretty much all of that track that they can, but if you do that in iRacing, you will get a 1x for somehow going off track. So that's kind of something that iRacing probably does need to fix here. But inside of 2 to go, Lawrence has just been dominating. I think that he can pretty much run half throttle at this point. He doesn't have to worry about anything from Gardner now. I know if he somehow bends his car here, he will be incredibly mad because he just has such a lead on these guys. Not had to face anyone the whole entire night. We'll go on board for the last lap. He gets a little bit loose for that bus stop there. We'll go on board for the last lap with Robert Lawrence when he does get the white flag here. Just to show you how he's been driving this track the whole entire night.
Smooth and steady. That's how he's been driving it the whole entire night. And as he heads into that left-handed turn number 6, into final number 7, onto the front straightaway one more time around this racetrack, Bryce.
Got white flag. Starter's going to have it in his hand. He's going to be wanting to wave it. White flag will be in the air for Robert Lawrence. We will go on board with him. The final lap here at Watkins Glen.
The most important lap of the race. Smooth. And you see him there just trying to take his time. He knows he's got a big lead. No mistakes here. Headed through the S's. And he's going to need a good bus stop here.
He has a 20-second lead over Kyle Gardner, so he can really take it slow through the bus stop. He does not have to worry about anything right now.
Not that he will, as you can see.
Oh,
whoa,
no. Oh, that was almost bad. That was Chris Wheeler. I'm glad Chris did not come down on the track because that would have been right in Robert Lawrence's path. That would have been terrible for him if he would have hit him right there.
That could have been a very bad situation. Luckily, though, didn't happen. Lawrence now down the straightaway, headed into left-handed turn number 6. And bringing it home as he'll take the right-handed turn. Final time here at Watkins Glen.
He has had a dominating race so far. Drop of the green flag, a 20-second lead over Kyle Gardner, and it will be Robert Lawrence. He will take home the win at the road course. That is Watkins Glen. Dominates the whole entire night. Gardner has second locked up. Bourne has third locked up. We'll just have to wait for them to get to the finish. But Robert Lawrence, he had a night to remember. He dropped the green flag, qualified first, and I think he led every single lap in this race. Maybe Gardner led one when he was in pit road, but that was just a dominating race from Robert Lawrence there.
Well-earned win from the 34 Everlast Ford. He really just, from the drop of the green flag, had a very, very, very good restart. It looked like the car that was to his outside, which was the number 16, spun his tires just a little bit. That held up that inside or that outside line and was able to give that inside of Lawrence and Gardner a little bit of space to work with.
He's going to be happy with that one. I believe this is his first win of the season here. You see his teammate Chris Wheeler, I believe, those two are teammates, just making sure, coming over to celebrate with them.
And Wheeler, of course, like we mentioned earlier, was the one who spun around in front of Lawrence. That would have been a bad deal if a teammate would have cost the teammate a win there.
I know he's probably saw his teammate. He's like, "Do not come down the track. Whatever you do, please do not do that." As I saw drivers have that happen sometimes. Here. Burn it down. Wait for him to get it going. Come on, throw that thing around. There he goes.
Dominating win, and it's like, hey, now I don't have to save any of these tires. Blow them up.
Yes, I believe Chase Elliott did that at Road America, so he's probably going to try to do the same thing. Going to do a sideways burnout there, giving us a little bit of a show.
That's impressive right there. That's harder than it looks, folks.
You really got to be pretty equal with your throttle input to keep it doing that there. That's impressive that he's giving us. He might do it all the way down to turn 1. Let's see if he can.
That's very impressive. I'm impressed right now with the way he's burning out.
Wow, how is he burning it down? There's no way. His engine will probably give out sooner than his tires will.
In there. That's crazy.
He's going very far with his burnout here. Still trying to go. Oh, he's trying to make it to turn 1, I think.
He's going to make the dive down into turn 1, and there goes the smoke. Oh, no, it's back. There he goes.
This is probably one of the longest burnouts I've ever saw. I'd say his engine, I guarantee when he gets done, his engine's going to blow up. Oh, looks like he finally gives that out. That pretty much does it all the way from the start-finish line to turn 1. He's going to pull off the track here. Probably blow it very soon on if he's not careful. There it goes. Knew his engine would have to expire on him. He tried to burn it down for as long as he can, and it just couldn't hang with him anymore. I knew that was going to happen eventually for him.
Hey, doesn't matter. You've already won the race. Blow the engine. That's what I say.
I mean, might as well. Well, they don't need any more after this, hopefully. If they do, well, you got to build a new one now. Sorry.
Blow the engine, grab the trophy, kiss the girl, head home. He's won the race here at Watkins Glen. That was a fun one.
We will bring in the third place driver in Tom Bourne here. Let me find him and drag him in. There he is. So I'll bring the third place driver of Tom Bourne in here. Hey, Tom, this is Bryce. And Bryce in the booth. You got a copy, man? All right, man. So, not a bad race overall. You finished third. Now, how did that race go for you, though, man?
We had speed. I'm not even going to try and... Where I finished second-wise behind Robert, I feel like it was a little, it doesn't tell the tale. Basically, just a fun race overall. It sucks that I had a couple pearl black flags and everything where I had to slow down in the beginning part, and that just kind of put me behind the 8 ball. But overall, it was a good race. Congrats on Robert for the win. Really ran a perfect race, and even if I didn't get those black flags, then I probably still wouldn't have had anything for him. So good on you, Robert.
All right, man. Well, before this goes, anybody? Oh, sorry. No, you can go. You can ask him some questions. I didn't think about that.
Tom, I just had one question for you. Explain to everybody who is used to oval racing, only a couple of road races this year. Explain how integral that those green flag restarts are. We saw the 34 get a really good jump. It seemed like you guys were chasing them from then on out.
Yeah, you know what? Road courses, you're not going to get many yellow flags. Just because everybody's so spread out, it's very easy to get the cars going. And if you don't get a good start, then you're kind of behind the 8 ball moving forward. You're going to have to push the car a lot more. Where with ovals, you'll get cautions, and you'll be able to get another chance at the leader or get another chance to get positions. If you mess up when it comes to road racing, you're going to have to drive your butt off just to possibly get that position back that you lost or even contend for the win.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Congratulations on the run.
Thanks, man.
Well, man, Before I let you go, is anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Yeah, you guys putting on a great stream again, week in and week out. Can't thank you guys enough for putting this league on. Chris Hupka, he couldn't be here tonight, but thanks to him for having me back. Ghost Energy, they came on board a couple weeks ago, and they're really a big supporter of what I do and everything. So shout out to them. Guy Motorsports for putting together another great car week in and week out. Hats off to Robert again for getting the dub, and my beautiful girlfriend Melissa, she's watching at work. So hopefully you're not having too bad of a shift, and hopefully we can be talking to you guys again next week.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go, but good third place run tonight, man.
Thanks, Bryce.
As that was Tom Bourne. We will bring in the second place driver and Kyle Gartner. Hey, Kyle, this is Bryson. Bryson in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir. How's it going, Bryce?
Man, so you come home second. You might have had something for Lawrence before those pit stops happened. How did the race go for you from the drop of the green flag to the finish?
Oh, I mean, hot. I forgot to turn the AC on, but yeah. On the start, I'm kind of upset at myself. I ended up being a little too cautious. Got stuck in traffic. I knew I was fast coming into the race, and I knew, Robert was going to be the one to beat. And by the time I got through everything, he already was out 10 seconds, and I was trying to pace him down, but I knew the only way I was going to do that was if he burned up his stuff, and he didn't do that, so second place.
Yeah, man, before those pit stops happened, you were definitely starting to gain on him. I thought you had a shot, but then noticed as the race went on, Lawrence, he was just able to pull away, but not bad finish for you overall. You won last week. You come home second, so that's not too terrible. But before I let you go, is anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout that may have been watching the stream here tonight, man?
Well, I want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Hupka, again, for putting the league on. My friends and family that end up watching on a regular basis. And I'll say Hupka Real Estate. And obviously, I have the Red Bull on my paint scheme. So I'll shout out Red Bull. So as I'm drinking one.
All right, man. Well, good second place finish tonight. I will let you go. Hopefully next week we will see you win. So, but good race, man.
I'm hoping. All right. Talk to you guys later.
That was Kyle Gartner. We will bring in the race winner in Robert Lawrence. Hey, Robert, this is Bryce and Bryson in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir.
Man, so that was probably one of the most dominating wins I have seen here in the Ghost Cup series. Describe that race from the drop of the green flag to the finish for me, man. Like, what was going through your head through that whole race here?
Well, to be brutally honest, I was not expecting to be here. Words are hard. Yesterday I did a next gen race here, so unfortunately I brought a lot of tendencies from that car to here for practice, and I was struggling. I was like, how am I going to get the power down? How am I going to make these corners with this big block of a car? And towards the end of it, I finally got it kind of figured out, and I saw Kyle and Tom both putting down damn good laps, so I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. So, but I saw the track temp as well, so I'm like, well, if I can manage my tires, maybe I can beat them there. So, like right off the rip, from the screen flag, I took off, was thinking about saving tires, but then I saw Tom on my bumper right off the get-go, so I kind of had to push. And unfortunately, he got some slowdowns, so then that opened up my lead, and I just kept chunking it on after there and didn't let up. I got in a groove, and it just kept going.
Yeah, man, road courses are kind of about, when can you find, where you can brake, where you can turn, where you can do this and that. It's really just you got to get the flow of the track, and that's one thing that drivers struggle with, but you definitely did not struggle with it, having a 21-second lead over Kyle Gartner as the race ended. So you just swept the floor, man. But before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank, any sponsors you want to shout that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Oh, yeah, I got to thank Everlast for being on the car and Sergeant Grit, both of those big sponsors on here. Also got to thank BMS, Noah Owens over there and Tori, great owners, can't thank them enough, and my teammates for putting up with my shenanigans, and hopefully they learned something from me this week. So it was definitely hard earned, but I can't thank those guys enough.
All right, man. All right, man. Well, I'll let you go, but good win tonight, man. Good job.
Thank you.
As that was Robert Lawrence, the race winner. I will run through this finishing order here. Robert Lawrence first, Kyle Gartner second, Tom Bourne third, Matthew Rodriguez fourth, fifth is James Silver, sixth, Jacob Bowen seventh, Christopher Tate eighth, Rylan Fontenato ninth, Tyler Evans 10th, Dalton McKinney 11th, Christian Roos 12th, Chris Wheeler 13th, Justin Ray 14th, Devin Scroggins 15th, Zach Woods, and 88 was Noah Owens, who had an engine expire on him. But that was a dominating win from Robert Lawrence. Now, what was your take on it, Bryson, the whole race here?
Well, obviously, I think the biggest thing to me, the biggest takeaway for me is restarts. We've talked about it a couple different times. You heard me ask the third place finisher that in Bourne. It seemed like that was the integral part. It also seemed like the person who didn't burn up their stuff was going to win the race, and we saw the 34 car and the 49, the 1-2 finishers really seemed to be the smoothest drivers of the race. Looking forward to Pocono next week. I mean, it's crazy. You go Talladega, Watkins, Glen to Pocono, and then we'll be at the Milwaukee Mile. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks.
Yeah, Pocono is a fun track, but we will be there. And it will be on Ghost Racing Network, like always. But good race overall. Good win by Robert Lawrence. Maybe we'll see him maybe repeat, hopefully. I mean, he does want to repeat, but that is a very hard thing to do. But so we said earlier, we will be back at Pocono, so that'll be a good race to tune into. But I will roll these ads, and I will let you all go here.